My name is Amelia Marchick-Taylor, and I'm the head of Reference and Discovery Services here in the MSU Libraries. Today I'm going to take you on a quick tour around the building, show you some of the highlights of our library building. And we're actually going to start here on the first floor. So right now we're kind of in between the two sides of the library. And as you'll find out, the library has two different sides. The west side will be behind me, and then the east side is off in this direction to my left. So we're going to start here. We're going to go up to see the west side of the building first, and then we'll see the east side of the building second. One thing to know about our library is that the two sides only connect on this first floor into the basement. So that's something I always tell students because it get a little bit confusing. And the east side of our building is all quiet study. You'll see that it is kind of set up for individual work, and the west side is all group study. So it's set up for more collaborative work. So what we have here on the first floor, a couple of things that I just want to highlight. So we have our reference desk, which is down here. This is where we have librarians and staff who answer kind of student research questions, are the first point of contact for researchers using the library. And this is open throughout the day. And we do have a lot of librarians who have a secondary appointment in reference who work in this space. And then if you follow me around the corner here, a couple of other things that I'd like to highlight. This is our circulation desk here. So this is where folks come to check out books, get library materials, course reserves, return books. They're located right here in this big central location between our two doors. And then right across from circulation, we have our special collections reading room. So the physical special collections are actually located in the basement, soon to be moving, but the researchers who actually use the materials are going to be located. They'll come and have them paged up to our special collections reading room. So that's another kind of focal point of this first floor of the library. And one of the nice things too is right next to special collections, we have our exhibit space that highlights different strengths from the collection. Right now it's displaying some botanical illustrations. This changes throughout the year too, to just highlight kind of different areas that we specialize in special collections. So if you follow me this way, we're going to head over into the west side. Again, this is the collaborative side of the building. Still on the first floor, you can see some of the spaces that we have for students. So this space off to my left here was just recently remodeled, actually right before the pandemic, but we're finally starting to see people use it again, which is a really nice space with lots of natural light. So it's very nice, I think, for folks to use. And then just a couple of other highlights on this floor. We have our faculty book collection, where we have recent publications by MSU faculty. And then right across the hall on the other side is our Cesar Chavez collection, which is a circulating collection, but it is, I guess in some ways, a special collection focusing on Chicano and Chicana American literature. And then last but not least, down at the end of the hallway here, we have our cafe, coffee, snacks, light lunch, things like that. And we're very happy that it is now open after being closed for several years. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and head up to the second floor on the west side. So I guess you can just follow me this way. Okay, so now we're on 2 West, and there's just a few things I want to highlight for you on this floor. We'll start over here with the Hollander Makerspace and Hollander Make Central Service Desk. Unfortunately, the makerspace is closed right now because we're on summer hours, but essentially this is where we have our 3D printers, we have a laser engraver, we have sewing machines, all kinds of things that people can use to make things. A lot of materials that folks can check out, like cameras, sound recording devices. It's a really dynamic space. I feel like every time I come up here, they have some kind of new piece of equipment that they're learning how to use. So that's over here off to my left. Right next door is the Hollander Central Service Desk, which is our traditional copy center. So we have poster printing, regular printing, our book publishing services. And fun fact, we also have a passport office here in the library, so folks can apply for a passport and also get their passports photos taken, which has been a really popular service since we initiated it here in the library. So that's over here at the copy center. And if you follow me here around the corner, show you our digital scholarship lab as well. So this is the digital scholarship lab. It's open to anyone. but is primarily used by folks working on digital projects. So a couple of things that I just want to show you in this space. There's some kind of, I don't know, more showy things, I guess. Our high power computers are over here. Of course, since it's summer, there's not a lot of folks here. And then we've got our 360 projection room. Basically, you can go inside and see video around all sides in a 360 projection, which is a very cool piece of technology that we're happy that we're able to share with the campus. And if you kind of come around here, a little bit more workspace. We also have a virtual reality setup, so virtual VR goggles, various kinds of VR technology that's available in this room. We also have researchers using these things, but they're also open for experimentation and play and for people to kind of learn what the technology can do. So we also have open hours with this space. This has been kind of one of the focal points and one of the kind of showpieces of the library, but there's a lot of really cool collaboration opportunities that are happening here in the Digital Scholarship Lab. So there's other things, I guess, on this floor, but just in the interest of showing you the highlights, we're gonna actually head up to 3 West now. Now we're up on 3 West, and I'll just show you a few highlights again here. So the first one immediately here is the art library. So we can go ahead and walk on in. And I like to show the art library just because it was also recently redone, and I think we did a really good job. It's a really nice space for students to work. Lots of soft seating, lots of natural light. I always think that if I were a student currently, this is where I'd want to come to study, just because it's a really nice space overlooking the gardens, and again with lots of natural light. And of course we have the art books here, as well as some reservable space for students to use. And then right across from the art library, we have our Turf Grass Information Center. And this I think of as kind of our most land grantee kind of space we have. It's probably the premier collection of turf grass related materials, so like literal grass and lawns located in this space. We also run a database called the Turf Grass Information File out of the resources that we've gathered as part of this collection. So yeah, this is one of our kind of premier collections that we have here in the library that's heavily used, I guess, by the turf grass community, including like golf course managers and baseball diamond managers and all those folks who are really concerned with grass. So that's here. And then right across from that, we also have some group study rooms. You'll notice throughout the west side of the building, we have, again, lots of spaces for collaboration, places that people in our community can use to work on group projects, work on other things that require collaboration. And it seems very quiet right now, but during finals week and during midterms, this side of the building can get quite buzzy, let's just say. There's always lots of people here. There's one more thing I want to highlight on this floor. We do have a location of the MSU Writing Center, as well as the social sciences help rooms that meet in these spaces during the semester. This is one of the ways that we have been happy to collaborate with our campus partners to meet the needs of students. So during the semester, these spaces are often filled with the Writing Center consultants and the tutors for various sections of social sciences classes, and I think is a really great collaboration that we've had for many years with those resources. And then I guess it's worth mentioning too, we have our remaining collections of print government documents, at least those that are not in our offsite storage, are also here on 3 West that folks can browse and get access to as well. So now we're gonna go head up to 4 West, where we'll talk about some of the highlights on that floor. Okay, so now we're up on 4 West, and I just want to highlight a couple of additional spaces up here. So right behind me is the music library. So that's where we have, both our sheet music and also music-related publications. So you can just walk in and look around. And our College of Music is actually located right across the street from the library, so this is a very convenient location, I think, for a lot of our students. And I think when it's not the summer, it does get a fairly high level of use. Okay, so then there's just one other space that I wanted to highlight, but while we're heading over there, I also wanted to highlight some of the exhibit space we have on this floor. We have exhibit space and a lot of our floors in the library to highlight different aspects of our collections. And those are constantly changing and often kind of present opportunities for librarians to showcase something that they're passionate about. So that's one of the things I always like to mention, just because I think it's a cool feature that we have, and it's a cool opportunity for folks to put something together that's really meaningful to them. So the final space that I want to highlight here is the Klein Digital Multimedia Center and Vincent Voice Library, housed in this space. So it's partly our collection of movies and physical media like that. We also have a very large collection of voice recordings, so every speaker who's ever come to MSU's campus, a lot of recordings of old video broadcasts that someone diligently recorded that we're preserving, as well as various other kinds of recorded digital and also physical audiovisual materials here. And another feature of this space is that we also have a fairly large video game collection, as well as video gaming rooms folks can reserve. And we do also have the legacy gaming systems as well that people would need to be able to play those games. So those are kind of behind me here. So there's also some kind of collaborative rooms that people can reserve as well if they want to. Okay, so you remember what I said earlier, that the two sides are not connected, so now we're up on 4 West, and in order to get over to the east side, we're going to have to go all the way down to the first floor or the basement. So what I think we'll do is we'll maybe just walk through the basement so you can get a very quick sense of what's down there, and then I'll show you some of the highlights on the east side of the building as well. Okay, so now we're in the basement. This is one of the ways that you can pass between the west side and the east side of the building. This is also one of our densely packed book areas. So as we walk through to the east side of the building, you'll see kind of our compact shelving and our dense book storage. About half of our collection is currently stored in our remote storage facility. So many of our materials are there, though we do still have a fair amount here in the building. So this is what you'll see, one of our heavily used areas for books. Essentially, we have everything except for literature and education materials are here on this floor. So if you follow me, I'll show you how to get to the east side. Okay, so now we're up on 2 East, and again, this is actually a quiet floor. Luckily, since it's summer, there aren't any folks studying up here who wish I would go away because I'm being loud. A couple of things I want to highlight on this floor. So right now where I'm standing, this is kind of our international area. So this is where we have a lot of our area studies librarian, some of our international reference. And then also right around the corner here, we have our quiet reflection room, which is a space that folks can use for quiet prayer, meditation. So that's a thing, something that we make available to people who use our library. Again, a lot of spaces for folks to study in this area, some exhibit spaces, things like that to highlight our collection. And then also, if we go right around the corner, I can show you our map library. Okay, so this is our map library. Rare maps are over in the corner, and then focus obviously on Michigan, but it's truly an international collection. And I always recommend, if you're here in person, to come talk to Kathleen, who's the head of the map library, because she always has something really interesting to show. It's one of our collections that is really fun to highlight just because we have some really unique and rare maps that are in this collection. So you may be wondering why we're not going to 3 East, and there's a good reason for that, because right now it is kind of deconstructed and under construction. Our current plan is that our special collections vault and storage will be moving up to 3 East so that it's out of the floodplain. But yeah, right now it's kind of gutted because we've been moving materials out of that floor. So we're going to skip that floor for now and actually head up to 4 East. Okay, so this is the final stop that we're going to take, and now we're up on 4 East. So again, this is a very book-heavy floor, mostly the L and P call numbers, and it has a lot of our kind of, again, dense shelving for books. So I'll take you on a quick little roundabout. One of the things that I always tell students about this floor is that it's probably our most confusing floor because of the way things are laid out. And I often, if I'm ever working on the reference desk, I'll often actually offer to walk students up here because it's very easy to get lost. But I find that I sometimes get lost as well. So let's cross our fingers and you can take a look and see what's here. This is the place in the library that has the strongest book smell, so if that's something you're really craving, I always recommend coming up here. So that's the highlights of the building. Thank you so much for your time and attention. I hope you've enjoyed learning a little bit about some of the physical spaces that we have here at the MSU Libraries. And I really hope that if you're ever here in person, you stop by and say hi. I'm always happy to meet new folks. So thank you again so much, and that's all for me.